Say you're holding a slightly heavy object in your hand. Now, if you try to hold that object within a container full of water, you'll notice that it feels lighter. It doesn't feel heavy at all. What happens when you put an empty glass into a container of water? Of course, the glass fills up with water. So you're holding the glass of water inside the water which is in the container. And now, when you try to take the glass outside the water, what do you notice? Yes, the glass feels heavier when it's outside the fluid. And the same glass full of water felt light when it was placed inside the fluid. And that brings us to the concept of buoyancy. What happens when an object is placed inside a fluid? As we'd seen in the previous video, the fluid pressure increases with depth. Now, because the pressure increases as we go deeper, the force exerted upward due to the pressure will be more than the pressure exerted downwards due to the pressure. So the force exerted on the bottom of the object due to pressure will be more than the force exerted on the top. So this net upward force exerted on objects submerged in fluids is called the buoyant force. You can test this with a tightly closed empty plastic bottle and a container of water. If you drop the bottle on the fluid, you will see that it will float. That's because the fluid is applying an upward force on the bottle. Now hold the bottle and push it inside the fluid. You'd notice that the bottle is also exerting an upward force on your hand. If you leave the bottle, you'll see that the bottle will come up to the surface on its own. I think you can guess why. Now push the bottle deeper inside the fluid. You will feel more force against your hand. And when you release the bottle, it'll rush back to the surface. It'll come up faster than it came up in the previous case. The upward force increases as it's pushed deeper into the fluid. And that's because the pressure also increases as we go deeper into the fluid. This upward force exerted by the water on the bottle is known as upthrust or the buoyant force. Now let's say you simultaneously drop a piece of balsa wood and a metal drawing pin of the same mass into a container filled with water. What do you think will happen? Will both of them float? Or will they both sink? Or one stays afloat and one sinks? We will